Good morning, beautiful souls. I hope that your Wednesday is going incredible. Welcome, November. Welcome, All Saints Day. This is the month of my birthday. I'm so excited. And I just wanted to pop on and answer a question live because I am getting ready to leave for a cruise today, and this was easier than any other solution I could come up with. So I wanted to answer Ashley Romney's question. She had asked, what are the different probable reasons that a natal chart could be the way that it is? We're talking premortal trauma, or people volunteered to go through things in this life. Like, there's multiple reasons why your chart is the way that it is. Of course, we can speculate on it, and I definitely encourage that conversation. So feel free to comment here on why you think that the chart is the way that it is, different things that you've thought about or anything like that. And my thoughts are this. So I believe that our intelligence has always existed. I believe that our intelligences were gathered, and that we are a gathering and a compilation of multiple different types of intelligence that are from here and from there and from everywhere. So in a previous universe, maybe there was a star that exploded and put into motion creation for more things, and out of that came some intelligence, and out of over here came some intelligence, and there's intelligence in the trees and in the rocks and in all of it, and the stardust is intelligence, and I believe that we were gathered from that. And so I think that's why some of us feel very like a divine affinity for different aspects of like the earth or the plants or the animals, or all of that, because we are all a conglomeration of that. Now, so our existence has always been, is what I believe. And in astrology, we see that there is the idea of the South Node and the North Node, and the South Node is like where you were before this. So astrology in its own like container is about where you were before, like what things you mastered before. So there's inherently that understanding that this is not your only experience. And then the North Node is where you're going and like what you're here to learn and master on a soul level. And it's usually the thing that's kind of really uncomfortable, but that your soul calls you to. And we often don't really start to click into that energy until we're about 40 to 45 is when we kind of switch over. And so, yes, you can be noticing your North Node energy before that, but there's not like a real deliberate. So it's not a thing that's appropriate to like take your 9-year-old and be like, oh, your North Node is in Sagittarius. Let me help you with that. Can a 9-year-old have a North Node in Sagittarius? Maybe. I'm trying to think now. I might have that wrong. I think an 11-year-old could have a North Node in Sagittarius. So it's not really appropriate to take your child and try to help them to kind of move into their North Node energy, because they're still very much in the development of their life in their South Node energy. And so I believe that before we were born, before we incarnated, came into this physical body, that there was a conversation of sorts. There was an understanding. There was some kind of a collaboration with God and ourselves, our intelligence, our soul. And I believe that we decided and picked intentionally, very much so, the moment that we would arrive on the planet, when we would be born, where we would be born, even what family we would be born into. I believe that all of that was on some level decided. Now, did we know what we were getting into? Yes, maybe. No, maybe. I don't know. Did we appreciate the intensity of what that would offer for our lives? I would like to think so. I think that there was a lot of awareness, but our souls are progressing and we're learning. And so on some level, there's no way that maybe we could have fully known. Maybe we could have, but when you chose to be born at the moment and location that you were, that infused into you the universe, like the imprint from the universe of all the energy that was currently like cross-sectioning Earth. And that was what imprinted into your physical body and became the manifestation of certain personality traits or tendencies or weaknesses or strengths. And it's not that it's like, oh, well, you were just born, on this day, and so this is what your life is going to be. Here you go. Like, here you go. There's so much more to it than that. It's more than just, this is what you get. I believe that it was pre-decided. And I think we participated in that. And I think that's why when we learn about our natal chart and our human design chart, and we really sit with it and we can appreciate the objectivity of it instead of subjectivity, that it resonates as so true. And it makes us cry, and it makes us lean in, and it gives us permission to stop being this and to start being that, because it's not just about the here and now. This is about like on a much bigger level. And so it's resonating with us and it's calling to us. And so, yes, I think that we do have trauma or different highly negative experiences that happen before we come, because Ashley had specifically asked, is this due to premortal trauma? I really, really love the book Deep Past Resolution by Ali Duzette. I highly recommend it. I think that it's worth reading because it will open up your eyes to see things that you maybe didn't even consider before, whatever your belief and background and all of that is. But so I highly recommend reading Deep Past Resolution. I'm pretty confident you can get it on Kindle, so you could get it right away, or you can just order the book. And that goes into a lot of Ali's perspectives about what happened here before, like to our spirits, to our souls, to our intelligence before we came here. And I definitely have had my own experiences that corroborate a lot of what she talks about. And I also think that, yes, we needed to opt into lessons or whatever. I have just come to see that some of like the super hard things that we have in this life are not what I used to think that they were. There's so much more to it. There's such a more intelligent design, and we also have more copability is the word that's coming to mind. Like if there's a lesson that you quote need to learn, it's just because you don't know it yet. And I believe that our souls are learning all the lessons. And so like I was just talking yesterday with the gal who does my nails, and we were talking about somebody that she knows that is honestly doing a pretty terrible job by a lot of measurements of being a mom. Like her kids are kind of messed up, and she's really not maternal, really not connected, really doesn't seem to care, keeps having these different guys in and out of their lives. She's got multiple fathers to her children, and not that it's a judgment at all. Like I have children with multiple men. Like I it's not inherently a judgment, but it's a lack of awareness. And I said to her, I said, I don't know everything for sure, but it makes me wonder if I've ever been that person. Like, I don't know how I feel about reincarnation. I think there's a lot that makes sense about it, that we might have had a physical incarnation in a different body here on Earth or on another planet similar to Earth. But it just makes me wonder, have I ever been that person that like really was just kind of being a train wreck of an inception point, that I was causing a ton of pain in other people due to my lack of spiritual soul maturity, and just kind of thinking through that. And it just gives me more compassion, because I don't know if that's true, but I wonder if we are all having all different experiences. Like in some way we've been a king or a queen and had everything to us, and in other ways we've been a forgotten orphan that nobody even bothered to name and didn't live very long. And have we been the jerk? Have we been the narcissist? Have we been the hyper empath? Have we been the victim? Have we been the victor? Have we been the one that's like compassionate and loving and kind of bridging that gap? And it just makes me feel a lot less superior about the things that I think I've got figured out, when I think about maybe I've been the terrible, terrible person. And it took me a while to be able to get to that point. I was married to somebody who was diagnosed with a sociopathic narcissistic disorder, and like that will really mess a person up. And I went through the whole like posting all the narcissist memes and like understanding that, because I was in the process of healing. And I was super in victim mode, so hardcore. Like I really thought that like, there's no way that this could be my fault and all of this, blah, 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 blah. And that was valid and real, and it was part of my healing. But I'm so grateful that I also got to a point where I no longer felt compelled to post those things or to talk about it so much or anything like that. It's just all part of the healing process. And so when I see other people in that, I send them love, and I do hope that they find the progression in it, But I also appreciate that we have different speeds. Some of us go through these stages very quickly and some very slowly, and there's no way to measure or compare because there's no two lives that are even remotely the same. Even if you grew up in the same family, even if you were legit twins and born at the same time in the same place and went through almost all the same experiences, you still just can't fully appreciate like what's going on inside of another person. And so I think the natal chart, it almost feels like getting the map, right? Like you have the information that would help so many people if they understood the value of what this was. It just shows you the map of like, here are your strengths and weaknesses. Here are areas that you're going to just have a ton of ease in, like where you can bet the farm on. You're looking at Jupiter, like wherever Jupiter is, you can count on that being awesome and amazing. And here are the areas where you're going to struggle. Look at Saturn. Saturn is telling you like, this is your stop energy. This is where you have to do things in the exact order and, not necessarily timing. You can speed up the timing, but it has to be done in order and you have to do it in integrity. And if you don't, then Saturn will say, start over. And so you can see it. And I know for me, when I first really started to comprehend my natal chart, like just knowing that my Venus is in its detriment and I was going through my second divorce, and it was like, oh, so the way that I'm approaching love and intimacy is in a way that is backwards from the natural flow of it. So that doesn't mean I can't be happy. It just means that I need to look at this differently because I have a different set of needs when it comes to this than the typical romance books or like what people tell you. And so that gave me permission to just step into like, I get to claim that I have different needs for intimacy and different things that I bring to the table. And so I need to do this whole dating thing differently. And I did. And I found the most amazing man on the planet for me. And like, he's absolutely perfect. And his Venus is also in its detriment. And so like, and that explains, a few things in his life. And so just those very simple things. I think about this so much. Like, how do I help more people to understand the value of knowing and understanding, at least on a basic level, the natal chart? That's why I love the Light-Filled Astrology Certification program, because it is so good at just teaching you all of the thoroughness of what this is so that you can read the map for yourself and for others. But just the value of understanding yourself, it changed my entire life. There was nothing that had the traction to really help my mindset to shift and for me to feel settled and okay with why I was the way that I was until I discovered astrology. And then of course, human design came a little bit later. And I love God and I love prayer. And I think prayer and God are the most profound tools that I have in this life. There's nothing quite like it. Like being able to connect with the very God of the universe, the maker and creator of everything that is, just anytime I want. That is amazing. However, my ability to reach out to God and understand and hear was so crowded by shame and just a lack of understanding. And so it's not that I value astrology or any other tool over God, but I couldn't connect with God as much as I do now until I could get out of my own way. I couldn't hear what I needed to hear. I'm all emotional. And it deepened my connection with God. It allowed me to actually see like, oh, I am divinely created. I am perfect just like I am in all of my flaws and all of my difficulties, and to really embrace the parts of me that I was very strongly pushing away. I couldn't connect with God while I was in that much level of shame. And now, like, I thoroughly love myself, and I find myself to be quite amusing in my little quirks and difficulties. So, and I just want that for everybody. And I believe that's why you're here. You're attracted to that. You see this solution and you're like, I want that too. I want that in my life. I want that level of happiness and I want that level of peace, and it'll look powerful and amazing and different for you. So that's why I couldn't just put all that in a comment. I was like, I could write this out, but it will do a huge disservice. So I hope that answered your question, Ashley. And I hope that we have a really rich discussion in here. And I am just sending you all so much love. I will be a little less present as I will be cruising in the Bahamas with a whole bunch of amazing women. And so delighted about that. But I just love you all so much. And I'm so glad that you're here.